Good evening. My name is Daniel from Nigeria, a Christian. I want to do this video about Jesus and Islam because Muslims, they don't want to agree that Jesus is God. There's always argue that Jesus is not God, Jesus is not God, Jesus is not God. So now, see the Quran here. The Quran proves that Jesus is God because in John chapter 1, verse 1 says that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. And this Quran here, in chapter 4, in Quran chapter 4, verse 171, it has proved that yes, Jesus is a Word of God and the Spirit of God. See and hear. You can read it yourself. Say Jesus is a Word of God and a Spirit of God. And a Spirit of God that creates inside Mary. So I don't know what you are arguing. Jesus is God. A Word of God cannot be outside God. The Spirit of God cannot be outside God. God is God, and God is a Spirit. And the word of that word is Jesus. That word is a name that Jesus bear in eternity. When he came to the world, that is why they now name him Jesus. But in his eternity, his name is Word. And it's a Spirit. So Jesus is God. Even if you check here, through in this hadith, right here, you check it yourself. You still say that Jesus is the Word of God and the Spirit of God. So I don't know why a Muslim are arguing that Jesus is not God. And Quran proof here that Jesus is God. The proof here, Jesus is God. Why? Because Jesus created a bite out of the clay, out of the dust of the ground. Jesus created a bite out of the clay of the air and breathed the life in that bird, and it became a live bird and fly away. Who can give life? It's only God can give life. And according to the Quran, Jesus can give life because he gives a bird a life, and he created it out of the dust of the ground, out of the clay. Jesus created that bird out of the clay. Carry sand and make a clay and build it like a bird, and breathe the breathe life in the clay bed, and it became a live bird and fly and go away. So Jesus give life. So even Quran agreed that Adam was created out of the dust of the ground, and God now breathed inside Adam, inside that clay of the dust that he do and make it a human being. He breathed life of it. It now become a living soul. So you can even read it in Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, that God created Adam out of the dust of the ground and breathed life in him. He breathed in his nostril. He become a living soul. So it's the same thing that Jesus did. He carry clay, dust of the clay, and make a bed out of it and breathe life in it and let it out. And when it became a live bird and fly away. So it's still the same thing that God create Adam out of the dust of the ground and breathe life in him and become a living soul till today. This one you check in Quran chapter 3 verse 49, that Jesus create a bed out of the clay, out of the dust of the ground, and breathe life of him, and he flee away. So I don't know the argument that you people are doing. Who can give life? You know that it's only God can give life. Only God can give life. Only God can give life. Nobody can give life. Only God can give life. So even this Quran proves that Jesus is God. Jesus is God. Is the Spirit of God, the Word of God. And as God created Adam out of the dust of the ground and breathed life in him, and when he becomes living soul, it's the same thing. Jesus created a bird out of the dust of the ground and breathed in that bird, and he became a live bird and fly away and go. So why are you arguing that Jesus is not God? Why are you arguing? You are trying to argue like that. Jesus is your God. Jesus is your God, whether you deny it or not. So please, I want you to check very well. Read your Quran. Believe Quran. Don't think that you are doing it for Jesus. You are doing it for yourself. Because Jesus will come and judge you that you deny him. He will judge you as you deny him. Thank you.